Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, offer no resistance to one who is evil. When someone strikes you on your right cheek, turn the other one to him as well. If anyone wants to go to law with you over your tunic, hand him your cloak as well. Should anyone press you into service for 1 mile, go with him for 2. Give to the one who asks of you, and do not turn your back on one who wants to borrow." The Gospel of the Lord. Poor Naboth, if you were listening to the scriptures, that responsorial verse was just for him, I guess. Lord, listen to my groaning. Naboth has been done a great injustice by a nefarious king and a very evil queen. He appears to us then as a pinnacle of God's mercy. He's a Christ figure. He says nothing. He has no response. They charge him with these lies, and in the text you see nothing. There's no resistance. It's somehow he lays down his life. But can you imagine friends of his in his own town all betraying him for the sake of fear of this nefarious king and this vicious queen? But he says nothing. He simply takes the hit. He's a Christ figure insofar as you can see Jesus' mercy coming out of this. He's dying at the hands of people he knows, like Christ. And he says nothing, like a slaughtered lamb. This is mercy. And this is how violence is quelled. And so when the gospel says, I say to you, offer no resistance to one who is evil, Naboth knew it very well. But the evil stopped after that. And later on, you will see that Ahab, although he repented and probably made it to heaven because he repented, he died a very horrible death, and the queen even worse. Mercy was given by God to him. Imagine that. It's good for us to look at this because we may, even over trivial things, get into a heated discussion with somebody and it goes all bad because we would just not give up. We would not give up in stirring the pot or in stirring the evil and exacerbating it. I was reminded this morning of an experience I had with a woman. She was in her 90s. She lived alone in her house and she took care of herself. She was housebound, however, and when I would go visit her to bring her Holy Communion, she would have great tales to tell. She also served marvelous cookies with jelly on them, which I graciously accepted, but never ate because she was too blind to see that there were ants in the jelly that she was using. But she was a delightful woman. And one day when I got there, a roofing contractor had done some work for her, and she was talking about how she really believed that she was wrongly billed for what he did, and she was pretty upset. And after talking with her for a little while, she kind of settled down, and I said, "You seem to be at peace with all this." And she said, "Yes, Father, because it has occurred to me that God will take care of him." So she literally left this contractor to God's mercy, and she let it go. It was done. It was quite amazing. I stumbled across a little anecdote this morning also concerning Abraham Lincoln. He was criticized for speaking well of the Confederate soldiers. And a woman confronted him, and she said, "We have to destroy these people who are enemies." And Lincoln responded with an act of mercy. He said, "We destroy our enemies when we befriend them." And so we must be emissaries of God's mercy, especially when we have been done wrong, which is the most painful, but it's also the most Christ-like.
Regina Celi, letare